So what happens when the foundations of a kingdom are built on fire and blood, but the very next generation really struggles to wield that same power?
Right.
And what if the traditions that define our royal line just clash, like head on, with what the people actually believe?
Yeah, those are the kinds of questions that, they really get to the heart of how power works, how it's passed down,
Yeah.
especially with a dynasty like the Targaryens, right?
Yeah.
So much impact.
Absolutely. Welcome, everyone, to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into the, well, fascinating and often really turbulent early years of the Targaryen dynasty.
hmm
Our focus, the starkly contrasting paths of King Aegon the First's two sons, Aenys and Maegor.
Such different characters.
Totally. We'll be pulling apart the historical accounts, the chronicles, trying to uncover the surprising truths, the moments that really mattered, and just the profound differences that shaped these two half-brothers. Their reigns, one seen as weak, the other, undeniably brutal. They led to this period of intense conflict, bloodshed.
Yeah, and it's not just about what happened. We want to get into why it mattered.
Yeah.
The lasting implications for a realm that was still kind of finding its feet under dragon rule.
Exactly. Because when you zoom out, this isn't just a story about two brothers.
No, not at all. It's really foundational. It looks at the nature of rule itself, how a brand new kingdom responds when its leaders are just so wildly different from the legendary founder.
Yeah.
It's almost like a blueprint for understanding stability or, the lack of it.
Right. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Two sons, worlds apart in temperament. King Aegon Targaryen the Conqueror famously took both his sisters, Rhaenys and Visenya, as wives.
The Valyrian way.
Exactly. Both dragon riders, both with that signature silver gold hair, purple eyes, that Valyrian look. But while each queen gave Aegon a son, those boys, well, they couldn't have been more different.
It's pretty amazing how early those differences showed up, like right from birth, almost. Take Prince Aenys, Queen Rhaenys' son.
Yeah.
He was small, often sick, apparently cried constantly. The Meisters were genuinely worried he wouldn't make it. There were even these whispers, hushed rumors, that maybe he was a, quote, bastard born of one of Queen Rhaenys' many handsome favorites, just because he seemed so unlike Aegon the Conqueror.
Wow, what a tough start for a future king. But didn't something change? With a dragon?
Yeah, that's the interesting part. He only really started to thrive after he was given a young dragon, Quicksilver, when he was about 3.
Oh.
It's almost like the dragon was the piece he needed, to connect with his Targaryen side.
But then tragedy hit him early on.
Oh, absolutely. When Aenys was just 3, his mother, Queen Rhaenys, and her dragon Meraxes were killed down in Dorne. A huge blow.
Devastating.
Left the boy utterly inconsolable. He stopped eating, apparently even started crawling again like he'd forgotten how to walk. King Aegon himself was despairing. And the court whispers started again. Maybe Aegon would take another wife, since Visenya hadn't had a child yet.
So Aenys clearly wasn't a physical copy of his father.
Not at all. The accounts say he lacked his sire's size and strength, and was never more than adequate as a fighter.
Okay.
His talents were elsewhere. He was apparently a fine singer with a strong, sweet voice, very courteous, charming, clever, made friends easily. Young girls apparently doted on him, and his favorite companion was always his dragon, Quicksilver.
Paints a picture of a more gentle soul, maybe even artistic, definitely not the warrior king archetype.
Right. And his personal life kind of echoed that. In his early 20s, he married his cousin, Lady Alyssa Velaryon, also Valyrian blood there. Their marriage was apparently genuinely happy and fruitful.
They had children.
Yes, quite a few. First, Rhaena, a small but healthy girl. King Aegon, I reportedly adored her, maybe saw something of his lost queen Rhaenys in her. Then came Prince Aegon a few years later. Now he was robust, fierce, had a warrior's look, a sharp contrast to his own father.
Interesting.
And more followed, Viserys, Jaehaerys, and Alysanne. This big growing family really pleased King Aegon, but maybe not Queen Visenya so much.
Yeah, you can see how that might cause some tension. What about Princess Rhaena and dragons?
Well, Princess Rhaena, who was initially quite shy, apparently bonded instantly with her dragon hatchling Dreamfire when she was 9.
Wow.
By 12, she was flying, totally shedding her timidity, and later she'd put dragon eggs in her younger siblings' cradles. So a deep connection to the dragons, a comfort with that power maybe her father struggled with.
Okay, so that's Aenys. Now let's switch gears to Prince Maegor, born to Visenya a few years after Aenys.
And the complete opposite. Right from day one, Maesters noted no newborn was ever more robust. Weighed almost twice what Aenys did.
A strong start. And his mother, Visenya.
Oh, Visenya put a sword in his hand when he was 3. There are stories, maybe exaggerated, about him killing a castle cat.
Yikes.
But what's clear is he took to swordplay at once, trained by Sir Gawain Corbray, a top knight.
And his temperament matched that, didn't it?
Absolutely. As a boy, stabbed a horse that kicked him, slashed a stable boy's face, had companions, but the texts say no true friends. Quarrelsome, quick to take offense, slow to forgive. By 12, he was unhorsing older boys in tourneys, beating trained fighters, just raw, unmatched skill.
You mentioned his mother's influence.
Hugely significant. On his 13th name day, Visenya gave him her own Valyrian steel sword, Dark Sister.
Wow, Dark Sister. That's a statement.
A massive statement. It showed exactly the path she expected him to take.
And marriage came early for him, too.
Swiftly. To Lady Cerise Hightower, 10 years older than him, married at the Starry Sept Gay. Maegor apparently boasted he consummated it a dozen times, saying, "I made a son for House Targaryen last night."
No son came from that marriage, did it?
No, ironically, none at all. But his military reputation just kept growing. Knighted by Aegon himself with Blackfyre at 16, the youngest knight in the realm, then after beating 3 Kingsguard knights in a tourney, fought pirates in the Stepstones, killed some legendary outlaw called the Giant of the Trident. He was the real deal as a warrior.
A fearsome warrior. But there was that thing about dragons, wasn't there?
Yes, really telling. Despite getting offers of dragon hatchlings, he refused them all. Aenys' wife, Alyssa, even teased him about it, asked if he was afraid of dragons.
What did he say?
His reply was chilling. There was only one dragon worthy of him.
Ooh, foreshadowing.
Definitely. And all this time, Aenys is having kids, the line of succession is growing.
Pushing Maegor further down.
Exactly. Which just fueled his frustration. And you can bet it fueled Queen Visenya's ambition for her son. The tension between the brothers was just building and building.
Okay, so the differences are crystal clear. What did this mean for the kingdom as Aegon I's reign started winding down?
Well, Aegon's last 7 years were pretty peaceful, actually. He'd made peace with Dorne's independence, focused on building things like tearing down the old Aegon fort and starting the Red Keep.
Right, the Red Keep.
And Queen Visenya was put in charge of overseeing that construction. Significant role for her.
And Aenys was taking on more duties.
Yeah. During this time, Prince Aenys and Lady Alyssa were the ones doing the royal progresses, traveling the kingdom. The old King Aegon stayed home more. It sort of highlighted Aenys' public role, but maybe also hinted he wasn't quite ready for what was coming.
And then the Conqueror died.
In 37 AC, Aegon died of a stroke on Dragonstone. His grandsons were with him. His body was burned on a pyre, armor, Blackfyre and all.
And Maegor.
Maegor was right there to pull Blackfyre from the ashes, noted how Valyrian steel resists fire. Always the opportunist, maybe.
So Aenys becomes king, age 30. What's his first move?
Well, arguably his first misstep.
Hmm.
He embraces Maegor, offers him joint rule, and then he gives Maegor Blackfyre.
Gives him Blackfyre, the Conqueror's sword.
Yep, saying something like, "You are more fit to bear this blade than me." So now Maegor has both ancestral Valyrian steel swords, Blackfyre, and Dark Sister.
Oh, wow. What did people make of that?
Well, Dowager Queen Visenya jumped all over it. She famously said, "Even Aenys sees it. Why else would he have given Blackfyre to my son? He knows that only Maegor has the strength to rule."
Ouch. Shedding the tone right there.
Absolutely. They just fed into this undercurrent of doubt about Aenys. His royal progress to Old Town for the High Septon's blessing had cheers, sure, but also those whispers about weakness. The realm was forged by a warrior, and now, well, they weren't so sure about this new king.
And the old wounds from the conquest hadn't healed.
Not entirely. New generations wanted revenge or independence. Lords started whispering, "The chains the dragon forged can yet be broken. This new king is weak."
And that weakness, or perceived weakness, led to trouble.
Big trouble. It was like an open invitation for rebellion. Things flared up all over. In the Riverlands, some guy calling himself Harren the Red seized Harrenhal, killed a lord there who was apparently notorious for the whole first night thing.
Right, that lovely tradition.
Yeah, and declared himself king of the rivers. Aenys just hesitated, didn't act like his father would have.
And elsewhere.
In the Vale, Jonos Arryn kicked out his own brother, Lord Ronald, locked him up, declared himself king of Mountain and Vale. On the Iron Islands, a priest king, Lodosa Toys drowned, supposedly walked out of the sea.
Okay, things are falling apart fast.
And in Dorne, the Vulture King rallied thousands, seeking vengeance, took Blackhaven, even cut off Lord Dondarrion's nose. The kingdom was literally tearing itself apart at the seams.
And Aenys. What was his reaction?
Total paralysis. He's just bewildered, asking things like, had I wronged them? If they have grievances, why not bring them to me? He talked about sending messengers, not armies. He even countermanded orders from his hand, sent him off with just a few guys, talked about calling a great council instead of fighting.
That doesn't sound very Targaryen.
Not the conquering kind, no. This indecision wasn't just a personal flaw. It fundamentally challenged that image of the unyielding dragon lord. It showed how much the kingdom relied on that decisiveness.
So while the king was dithering,
Others acted. Lord Royce marched on the Eyrie, but Jonos Arryn just threw his brother Ronald out the moon door rather than surrender.
grim.
But then, the game changer. Prince Maegor shows up. Above the Eyrie, riding Balerion the Black Dread.
Balerion, the Conqueror's dragon, the one he said was worthy of him?
That's the one, faced with Balerion's fire. Well, the Eyrie garrison gave up Jonos pretty quick. Maegor hanged him naked, executed his followers. Brutal. Decisive. A clear statement.
And Maegor wasn't the only one getting results.
No. Goran Greyjoy beat Lodos, sent his pickled head to Aenys,
Charming.
and Aenys, maybe unwisely, gave Greyjoy the right to kick Septons out of the Iron Islands in return. Meanwhile, Orys Baratheon Orys won hand by now, and Savage Sam Tarly crushed the Vulture King in Dorne. And Harren the Red was finally killed by Aenys' hand, Lord Stokeworth, though Stokeworth died too.
So Maegor comes back a hero.
Hailed as a hero, Aenys names him Hand of the King. This whole period just starkly highlighted the difference between them, and everyone was whispering it. Maegor was plainly the stronger of the dragon's two sons. The realm was learning where the real power lay.
Which brings us to an even deeper conflict, doesn't it? The faith.
Ah, yes, the huge underlying problem. The Faith of the Seven, dominant in Westeros, absolutely condemned the Valyrian practice of incestuous marriage, brother-sister especially.
Called it vile sin, right? And the children abominations.
Exactly. King Aegon had mostly smoothed things over, confirmed the faith's rights and privileges, but that core issue, the Targaryen marriage customs, it just remained simmering below the courtesies like poison. A cultural time bomb.
And Maegor lit the fuse.
Pretty much. Around 39 AC, after Aenys' wife Alyssa had another daughter who died young, Maegor, whose first wife Cerise was still childless, just went ahead and took a second wife, Alice Haraway.
Without permission.
Oh yeah. Performed by Valyrian right, no leave from King Aenys. The realm was shocked. The High Septon denounced it as sin and fornication, called Alice, this whore of Haraway.
And Maegor's reaction.
Total defiance. Said his father took two sisters, that the faith's rules were for lesser men, not the blood of the dragon.
So Aenys had to do something.
He did. He gave Maegor a choice, put Alyssa aside, or face 5 years of exile.
And Maegor chose exile.
He did. Took Alice, took Balerion, and took Blackfyre with him. Refused Aenys' request to return the sword.
Leaving Aenys in a tough spot.
A really tough spot. Aenys tried to appease the faith, named a pious septon Myrmidon as his hand. But it didn't work. Lords were openly questioning him. How can he rule the Seven Kingdoms when he cannot even rule his brother? His image as an ineffective king was solidifying.
And then Aenys made his own disastrous move.
His fatal misstep. In 41 AC, he announced he was going to marry his daughter Rhaena, who was 18, to her brother Aegon, the 15-year-old heir.
Traditional Targaryen practice, but terrible timing.
Absolutely awful timing. The siblings were apparently close, but the realm was in no mood for it. The faith's reaction was immediate and furious. A scorching condemnation, called the union and obscenity, the potential children abominations.
Yeah.
And this wasn't just a private letter. Thousands of septons read it out across the realm.
Wow, public defiance on a massive scale.
Huge. And Aenys, usually so indecisive, became completely stubborn on this point. Ignored everyone, even Visenya, who basically told him, either call off the wedding or burn the starry sept down. He just pushed ahead.
What happened at the wedding?
Well, at the feast, Aenys annoyed Visenya even more by naming young Aegon Prince of Dragonstone, the title that had belonged to Maegor.
Oof.
Visenya just got up, stalked from the hall, flew Vhagar back to Dragonstone. There's this ominous line. When her dragon passed before the moon, that orb turned as red as blood.
Not a good sign. And the young couple's progress.
Met with open hostility, jeers, insults. At Harrenhal, they were even refused entry unless they acknowledged Maegor's wife, Alice. Rhaena had that defiant moment, telling people, throwing dirt, the next time I come, I will be on a dragon. Throw dirt on me then, I pray you.
Fiery. But the situation was spiraling.
Completely. Septon Myrmidon, the hand who officiated, was expelled from the faith. Aenys wrote to the High Septon trying to explain history and got a reply addressed to King Abomination, declaring him a pretender.
King Abomination, what?
Then Myrmidon was literally hacked to pieces by poor fellows. The warrior sons fortified their septen. Aenys had to flee King's Landing for Dragonstone. Barely escaped assassins thanks to his Kingsguard.
And Visenya was waiting for him?
Oh, yes. Greeted him with pure contempt. You are a fool and a weakling nephew. You have a dragon. Use him.
Yeah.
But Aenys still refused. He even confined her.
So by late 41 AC.
Much of the realm was in open rebellion. But this time it was different. He was religiously charged. They saw themselves as soldiers of the Seven fighting a holy war against godless tyranny.
And this broke Aenys.
It seems so. By 42 AC, he was only 35 but looked like 60. Sickly, terrified. His health really tanked when he heard his children, Aegon and Rhaena, were basically trapped at Crakehall. He died 3 days later on Dragonstone.
And his dragon.
His beloved Quicksilver lit his funeral pyre. Visenya wasn't there, though. She'd already flown east and soon came back with Maegor.
The stage was set.
For Maegor the Cruel. Absolutely, the reckoning had arrived.
And cruel was the word. Maegor's usurpation was immediate, wasn't it?
Right away. Lands on Dragonstone with Balerion, claims the throne, chooses Aegon the Simple Iron Crown, not Aenys' fancy one.
A symbolic choice.
Definitely. And when Grandmaster Gowyn protested, saying Aenys' son Aegon was rightful heir, Maegor's response was ice cold. The Iron Throne will go to the man who has the strength to seize it. Then he personally beheaded Gowyn with Blackfire.
Setting the tone from minute one.
Brutally clear. Aenys' widow, Queen Alyssa, knew it was coming. She fled with her younger kids to Driftmark immediately. Maegor and Visenya flew to King's Landing, where the warrior sons held the city. Visenya basically threw down the gauntlet.
Wait.
If any man questions my son's right, let him prove his claim with his body.
The Trial of Seven.
The Trial of Seven. 7 warrior sons against Maegor and his 6 champions. It was apparently incredibly vicious. Maegor himself, even with Blackfire, nearly died. Took a huge blow to the head, left insensate. But Visenya declared, the king breathes, the king lives.
Yeah.
Maegor won, but barely.
And then he was out of action for a while.
Yeah, near death for 27 days. And this is where it gets even darker. Visenya dismisses the maesters, the septons, and hands him over to Tyanna of Pentos.
The rumored sorceress. Poison.
That's the one. And on the 28th day, Maegor wakes up, filled with this terrifying energy, gets straight on Balerion, flies to the Sept of Remembrance where the surviving warrior sons were holed up, and burns it to the ground, with 700 warrior sons inside. The screams were heard all over the city, apparently. Smoke hung over King's Landing for days. It wasn't just winning, it was annihilation. Total war declared on the Faith.
So the war began in earnest.
Oh, yes. Commanded the poor fellows, the Faith's peasant militia, to disarm or die. The High Septon called on everyone to fight back. Huge battles followed. Stonebridge, 9,000. Poor fellows cut to pieces. The river ran red. Great Fork, 20,000 defeated. Maegor on Balerion burning them from above. Massacres, really.
Designed to break them.
Completely. And his treatment of captives. But the hewer, the poor fellow leader. Maegor had his limbs chopped off with his own axe, but kept him alive.
Why?
To witness Maegor's next wedding.
His third wife.
Tyanna of Pentos. When the new Grand Maester Myros protested, Maegor just killed him with Blackfire on the spot.
Of course he did.
The wedding took place on the ashes of the burned sept, with the limbless Wat, the hewer, forced to watch. I mean, the symbolism is just brutal. Pure contempt for everything.
And what about Aenys' family?
Well, Visenya forced Queen Alyssa and her younger kids back to court, made them do homage to Maegor. Alyssa even had to participate in the bedding ceremony for Maegor and Elis Haraway, his second wife who was still around then. All while the High Septon is still denouncing Maegor, and Aenys' older son Aegon and Rhaena were still free, hiding out at Casterly Rock.
But that defiance couldn't last.
No. The next year, 43 AC, Rhaena gave birth to twin daughters at Casterly Rock. The High Septon instantly declared them abominations. Rhaena wanted Aegon to flee across the sea, but he was determined. He wanted his birthright.
So Aegon made his move.
He did. While Maegor was busy building the Red Keep, adding all those secret passages, Maegor's holdfast.
Ah, the secrets he later killed the builders over.
Exactly. Aegon and Rhaena actually managed to sneak into King's Landing, got their dragons Dreamfire and Quicksilver back, and escaped. Aegon then raised an army about 15,000 men, mostly smaller lords, no great houses really backed him, and he marched, riding Quicksilver.
Leading to the battle beneath the God's Eye.
The first time since old Valyria that dragon fought Dragon in the Sky. Maegor on Balerion versus Aegon on Quicksilver.
How did that go?
Badly for Aegon. Quicksilver was way smaller than Balerion. Balerion had just ripped a wing off. Quicksilver and Prince Aegon fell from the sky. Died instantly.
God, and the army.
Shattered. A total rout. Bloody.
What about Rhaena?
She was at the Pink Maiden Castle with her daughters in Dreamfire. When she heard the news, someone asked if she would cry. She just said, "I do not have the time for tears."
Wow.
She immediately fled again, this time to Fair Isle, dyed her daughter's hair, entrusted them to allies, hid their identities even from herself. Just pure survival mode.
So Maegor won, but what a victory. Kinslayer, and still no heir, right?
Exactly. Now known as Maegor the Cruel, Kinslayer, and crucially, childless. His court sounds like it became a grim, fearful place. He desperately needed an heir.
And then Queen Alice Haraway announced a pregnancy.
Yes, in 44 AC, Maegor was ecstatic. But the delivery was horrific. A stillborn monster, twisted limbs, huge head, no eyes.
Oh, God.
Maegor flew into a rage, executed the midwife, the septus, the Grand Maester.
And then Tyanna stepped in again.
The Viper, yes. She claimed Alice had been unfaithful, that her father, Lord Lucas Haraway, had arranged for other men to get her pregnant. She even produced a list of 20 names. Under torture, most confessed.
Leading to the Haraway Purge.
One of the most brutal episodes. Alice had to watch her family killed, her father thrown from a tower. Haraway men were impaled on spikes around Maegor's holdfast, some taking hours to die.
Endless herself.
Tortured by Tyanna for 2 weeks. Then her body was cut into 7 parts and displayed on the city gates.
Just beyond belief.
Maegor then went to Harrenhal and wiped out everyone with Haraway blood. Gifted the cursed castle to whichever knight won a deadly melee. The winner died of his wounds anyway. Total paranoia. Total brutality.
And things just kept getting worse for him.
Loss after loss. He comes back to find his mother, Queen Visenya, has died.
The one person maybe truly loyal to him.
Right. And in the chaos, Queen Alyssa and her kids, Heirs and Alysanne, escape Dragonstone, taking their dragons, Vermithor and Silverwing, and they steal Dark Sister.
Steal Dark Sister, wow.
Maegor was furious. He tortured Prince Viserys, Aenys' next oldest son, for 9 days trying to find Alyssa. Viserys died without talking. Maegor left his body out for 2 weeks before burning it. The realm wept for him, the chronicles say. He was just isolating himself completely.
Then the Red Keep was finished.
Yes. Maegor feasts the builders, then has them all killed to keep the secrets, their bones sealed within the walls. Queen Cerise Hightower dies suddenly. Around then, too, rumors flew. So Tyanna becomes his only queen, hated and feared. He starts building the dragon pit with forced labor, keeps fighting the Faith Militant, brings back thousands of skulls. But the Faith just keeps resisting.
He must have been desperate for an heir by now.
Utterly desperate. 47 AC. He takes new advice.
Sure.
Marry multiple wives, women known to be fertile, and force his niece Rhaena into it too, to unite claims and have a hostage.
Rhaena had to marry the man who killed her husband.
Yes, she was summoned, forced into it. Defiance meant Balerion visiting Fair Isle.
So he takes the Black Brides.
The Black Brides. Rhaena Targaryen, Lady Jane Westerling, a widow, and Lady Eleanor Costain, whose husband Maegor he just executed, married in one ceremony.
Brim.
Made worse because Tyanna cruelly brought out Rhaena's hidden daughters, Aery and Rhaella, dressed in Targaryen colors, right at the wedding. Rhaena's vows were apparently cold as ice.
And Maegor declared Arya his heir.
Yes, until such times that the gods grant me a son. Disinherited Heirs completely. Sent the other twin, Rhaella, off to Oldtown to become a septa.
Did any heirs come from the Black Brides?
Pregnancies were announced. Jane and Eleanor. Maegor was hopeful again. But Jane gave birth to another stillborn, monstrous child. She died soon after.
The curse again.
That's what everyone whispered. Maegor's seed was cursed, full of worms. He blamed Tyanna. She confessed under torture, said she'd poisoned Alice's and Jane's babies, and would do the same to Eleanor's.
What did Maegor do?
The story goes he cut her heart out himself and fed it to his dogs.
Vicious end.
And just as Tyanna supposedly promised, Queen Eleanor also delivered a malformed stillborn, an eyeless boy with tiny wings.
So no heir, ever.
None. And by 48 AC, no man in the 7 kingdoms could doubt that the king was accursed. His support just evaporated.
And Jaehaerys stepped up.
Lord Rhaegar Baratheon declared for Jaehaerys at the storm's end. Jaehaerys was 14 now, skilled, rode Vermithor. His sister Alysanne, 12, stood with him on Silverwing. Rhaegar's point was clear. Maegor has only one dragon. Our prince has 2.
A powerful argument in Westeros.
The most powerful. And then the ultimate betrayal for Maegor. Word reaches the Red Keep, and Rhaena gets on Dreamfire, flies to join Jaehaerys, takes her daughter Arya, and steals Blackfire from Maegor's scabbard while he slept.
Stole Blackfire back. Perfect.
The symbolism is huge. Maegor's response was apparently sluggish and confused. His Grand Maester fled. Lord Hightower refused to execute Rhaella and imprisoned Maegor's messenger. Kingsguard started disappearing. The great houses Valerian, Tyrell, Hightower, Lannister, Arryn, Royce all declared against him.
He was completely alone.
Almost. Just a few minor lords left, maybe 4,000 men. As last war council, Lord Hayford suggested abdication. Maegor beheaded him on the spot, stuck his head on a spike behind the Iron Throne.
A final act of defiance.
And then, silence. Hours later, Queen Eleanor found Maegor dead on the Iron Throne. Pale and dead, his robes soaked through with blood, arms slashed open, a blade through his neck.
The enduring mystery. How did he die?
Still debated, isn't it? Did the throne itself kill him? Did Queen Eleanor get revenge? Did his Kingsguard finally act, an assassin using those secret passages?
Or did he do it himself, seeing it was all over?
That's the other theory. Utter despair, turning the throne's blaze on himself, we'll likely never know for sure. His reign lasted 6 years and 66 days. Died childless, no heir, body burned, ashes sent to Dragonstone. A brutal, mysterious end.
What a period, from Aenys's uncertainty to Maegor's absolute terror.
A dramatic arc, and such a contrast between the two brothers.
Indeed. So wrapping this deep dive up, what should you, our listeners, take away from this? We've seen these two brothers, same father, but vastly different temperaments, different mothers, chart these wildly divergent paths.
Right. One's indecision really opened the door for the other's brutality, which then just consumed itself and ended in mystery.
I think our dive really highlights the massive impact a ruler's personality can have, doesn't it? Aenys's hesitation versus Maegor's tyranny, the fate of the kingdom hung on it.
Absolutely. And that explosive clash between ancient traditions like the Targaryen marriages and the deeply held beliefs of the wider society, the Faith of the Seven, that conflict shaped everything.
Yeah, and it shows how quickly things can unravel, how loyalty shifts when leadership falters. But maybe the biggest irony, as you said, is Maegor. All that strength, all that ruthlessness, fire and blood, and he couldn't achieve the most basic thing for a king, a living heir.
Couldn't secure the future. He believed, didn't he, that the Iron Throne will go to the man who has the strength to seize it. And he did seize it, by force.
But his reign was terror, rebellion, and ultimately a dead end. Which leaves us with a question for you to think about. Looking at history, real or fictional, what truly builds a lasting rule? Is it sheer strength and fear, like Maegor embodied?
Or is it something else? Legitimacy, maybe? The ability to inspire loyalty, hope? What kind of leader actually builds something that endures? Something to really ponder.